Hi, here's a video showing you how I helped Norma prepare for and pass her part 3. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please check those out as well, as that will massively help you if you are a PDI preparing for your part 3 or an AVI preparing for your standards check, especially if you wanted to use a full license holder. Yeah, so again, if I think from what you've said so far, I would agree with you. It is probably down to practice. Just through that practice, building up her understanding of how to do these roundabouts as a process.
Yeah.
And getting to a point where the pennies are dropping and she's thinking, right, yeah, I get it now. It makes sense. I understand the rules. I know what I'm doing. That's really elevating my confidence. So therefore, it's just, I don't want to make this sound oversimplistic, but let's not make it more complicated than it need be. It really is then just principally a case of how are the two of you then going to both practice together in the most effective way that's going to help her start to get towards that point. Now,
Yeah.
it might not be that you nail it in that 35-40 minute drive. And if you look at the part 3, 17 competencies, I think the last one under lesson planning says, did the instructor, I can't remember the exact wording, but help the student work towards their learning goals and needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as there is evidence that development is happening, you don't need to have reached a level of perfection or mastery
Yeah.
for the examiner to be satisfied that you know what you're doing in helping to push somebody's development on.
Yeah.
So it's really a case of you and them are working out together. Would it help her if you gave her a little bit of a demo drive to begin with? She can just listen in. I'd always say, don't be a passenger. Be a learner, or just really watch me, watch and tune into what I'm saying and how I'm doing it. Have a bit of a two-way feedback loop going on. So you're saying, I'm doing this, doing that. Is that making sense? Yep. Right, now I'm doing this. Is that making sense? Yep. Now I'm doing this. Did that make sense? Oh, no, that was a bit confusing. All right, no problem. We'll have a talk about that when we pull over.
Yeah.
Or she might say, no, let me have a go on my own to begin with. That's fine. Okay. Obviously, even though you're a full license holder, my job as a training driving instructor, because the license I've got, means that I ultimately have a duty of responsibility for your safety and everybody else's safety. So whilst I would expect you to deal with things principally on your own, and you've said that you want to have a go on your own, which is fine, if there's something that you're doing that is either putting us or other people at risk, then I may still need to jump in and make some form of intervention, which might be verbal or it might be physical.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's not that I'm not teaching you like a learner, but let's recognize these multi-lane spiral roundabouts. If you're not in the correct lane at the correct time and you're drifting and you're not aware of your surroundings, can be potentially very risky.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So if I need to, if I need to reach over and grab the wheel, then I will do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then once we've exited the roundabout, we'll pull over somewhere, nice and safe, and we'll have a chat about it. Or do you feel like with the first couple of times round the roundabout, you want to still stay in the driving seat, but you'd like me to give you some guidance in terms of how I would do it if I were in the driving seat? Again, that's slightly different language to what you would use with a learner. Because with a learner, you'll say, right, okay, for the first couple of times, what I'll do is I'll talk you through exactly what to do and how to do it. Okay. Then we'll check in with you, see how you're feeling, and if it's making sense, then the next couple of times, all I do is give you a little bit of a prompt or guidance, which might sound along the lines of, right, so what are you thinking now then? Right. let's get that speed down. What gear are you going to be in? You're
Yeah.
thinking here.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with the full license holder, it's more along the lines of, right, okay, so, and they're in the driving seat, you're coming up to this roundabout, you can see it in the distance, and you just say something along the lines of, right, if it were me, I'd start planning for everything now. I can see that sign up on the left. Now, once I know where I'm going, my eyes are immediately starting to drop down onto the road surface. I'm looking out for those lane markings to help me work out which lane I need to be in.
Yeah.
I'd also, if I didn't know the area very well, start to bring that speed down as well to give me that extra few seconds to figure it all out. Now, I know this area very well. I'm a very confident driver. I've done these roundabouts hundreds or thousands of times. None of that information is relevant to me because I
Yeah.
just know it instinctively.
Yeah.
But if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, you don't know that route, there's lots of information that you need to look at and work with. So the only way that you can sensibly do that is to drop your speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'd be doing now. I'd be dropping my speed. Now I'd be looking here. Is this making sense? Yeah, it is. Right, okay. So now we're in the correct lane. What are you thinking now?
And hopefully she'll respond with something.
Well, she'll respond with something.
She will. She
She'll
will.
respond with something. It might not necessarily be correct.
Yeah, because when you go round the first the spiral, you come round it, and then there's a choice where you come past the fourth exit, and say I said right fifth exit towards town centre. Say she, you come round it, and then you're faced with it splitting in two, and you've got A904, say going off towards the fifth exit, and then round to the right, you've got the A905 and another A904. So potentially confusing because the road runs through the roundabout effectively. Yeah, or goes one way and it also goes other way. So you come round and then you're like, oh, there's two now. And if you're not kind to choose it, or if you don't know what east or west, or you don't know, it's like, wow, what A904, So that's the kind of thing that she gets completely confused with.
Well, and also, the other element that you can potentially throw in is what do you do when you know you've made an error?
Yeah, I thought about that actually. Just if you go into the wrong one, you can go right round safely. How do you do that safely? Bring that in.
Or would it be possible to change lanes? But if you could change lanes, how would you do that safely?
Yeah, I had thought about that actually, asking her that once we were off the roundabout, obviously, and
Yeah.
that.
So, and again, you can just sort of highlight things that you know from experience often happen on the road. You can just have a conversation and say, so I can tell you from personal experience, a lot of people get confused in terms of what lane they should be in as they're going around this roundabout. And what I witness on a very regular basis is suddenly they're just shifting their position from one lane into another. And it's clear from the way that they've done that, they haven't been aware of their surroundings because what you tend to hear next is somebody beeping aggressively because they've just been cut up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's just think about it. Yeah, as sensible drivers, if you realize that you're in the wrong lane, what are our options based on safety? Option one might be to go all the way around it and do it again. Option two might be just to go the wrong way
Yeah.
and go wherever that lane goes and then find another roundabout or somewhere where you can get the car turned around and sort of
Yeah.
your way through it next time. The other alternative is to swap lanes, but to make sure you do it safely. Yeah, so always check your mirrors, have a little look over your shoulders, make sure you put that indicator on, and then just watch and see what other people are doing. If they know that you're in the wrong lane and they can see you want to move across into the lane that they're in, often people will just ease off, they'll slow down, and they'll give you that nice space to drift into. Now, what you're doing there is you're having an adult conversation with a full license holder. You're not talking to them in the way that you'd be talking to a learner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.